So I'd just like to wish everybody a happy snowfall, and you stay out of trouble. I'm going to be putting together a knife review of my Ontario Rat 1 knives, and the most recent one that I just picked up, and we'll get into that little bit of detail here in just a minute. So there it is. Lovely, lovely North Carolina winters. This snowstorm came through Friday night and Saturday morning, and was originally predicted to give us somewhere between 7 to 10 inches of snow, and it started a little bit late, but it started as all rain with some sleet mixed in, and it built up quite a layer of water and ice underneath, and early Saturday morning it started snowing that had some sleet mixed in it. So we got about 1.5 inches or 2 inches of snow on top of probably a 1/2 inch of solid ice all over everything. Darn near impossible to shovel, but there it is. Pretty much the entire county was shut down on Sunday. Church services were canceled all over the place. Most of the stores did manage to get open, but there were warnings from the Sheriff's Department and state police to just plain stay off the roads, because it was so treacherous with that layer of ice underneath. It's really quite slick. I actually tried to shovel down the driveway with just the push snow shovel, and all I really was able to do was just shine up the ice a little bit and make it even more slick than it is. But there it is. There's our first appreciable snowfall in North Carolina. It's been quite a fest. It's been darn cold. Right now it's about 15 degrees, which is near record lows for this part of North Carolina. But people are coping. We're getting along. So there they are, the Ontario Rat 1 side by side. The one on the bottom with the olive drab green handle is the one made with AUS 8 steel. The one on top with the black handle is with the D2 steel. I'm going to go over some of the things that I've learned about the two different kinds of steels and why I decided I wanted to get a second Rat 1 in D2 steel. So stick with us. I originally purchased the Ontario Rat 1 in the AUS 8 steel last March. So I've been carrying it about 9 or 10 months right now, and it's held up very well for everything that I need to use it for. I use it to open packages, open boxes. I use it to create feather sticks for fire starting. It's got a great spine here for striking ferro rods with. Just can't find any fault with it. The action opens very slickly. It's got a liner lock. Works very smooth. Can't complain. It's got a great little pocket clip here that's adjustable. You can put it here. On the opposite side, if you're a lefty, or at the bottom over here, that's up to you. Very easy to get to. Comes right on, comes right off. Seems to work pretty well. Now, when I was surfing around on YouTube, I heard a knife review on the new D2 steel that Ontario's offering with its Rat 1, Model 1, right here. So I said, well, let me go find out what the difference is between the AUS 8 steel and the D2 steel is. D2 steel has a very high chromium content, and it's just less than what may officially classify it as stainless steel. D2 steel is very hard, has very high edge retention, it's a little harder to sharpen. It will stain over time if you let it. But if you're looking for hard use and abuse, check out the tougher steels such as the D2. That was some advice that I got from one of the knife forums that's out there. The AUS 8 is 0.75 carbon, very popular steel with a lot of knife makers. It's tough steel, holds an edge well, it's stainless, and generally not hardened like a high carbon or tool steel blade can be. It's still no slouch, but it will have to be touched up a little bit more often. Now, the only touching up I've done with the one that I've been carrying with the AUS 8 steel is I've touched it on a steel maybe 3 or 4 times in the last 9 months or so that I've been carrying this knife. Now, I just got the D2 steel version of this, and I'm going to carry it for a while and see how that edge holds up. It's supposed to hold up a lot harder, a lot longer, stay sharper longer, and but it's on the downside, it's supposed to be a little bit harder to sharpen because of the composition of the steel. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the material components of the D2 steel versus the AUS 8 steel. Why did I decide to do it? Well, I needed to have a good cutting tool in my Jeep. And because I was so impressed with the Ontario Rat 1 from a fit, it fits my hand very well. I really enjoy using it. It's very comfortable. It does have some jimping in here. It's a little aggressive because I like to use my thumb to help steady, and it's a little rough for that, so I have to move my thumb away from that and use the blade itself. So that's the only downside that I've got with the Rat 1 style knife. The D2 steel has the same kind of jimping. It's just as aggressive. In fact, it's exactly the same. Couldn't find any real differences in the style until I went to open it up. And when I opened it up, I noticed that there's a secondary click in here, right there. And I couldn't quite figure out what that was. And then it'll close all the way, but you can hear that when that does that. What they've done is inserted in here a ball bearing that allows this to be opened in a much more smooth fashion than the older style. And it really does a nice job of opening. But you've got to make sure that you understand that that ball bearing's there, because you get a kind of a double click in there. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a good improvement. It's just going to take a little bit of getting used to, because I've been using this one so long that does not have a ball bearing in there. So after picking it up, I've used it a couple of times. I feathered a few sticks for a fire, and it does seem to perform very, very well. And I'm pleased with the purchase. So I just wanted to share what I've learned about D2 steel, AUS 8 steel, and the Ontario Rat 1, which is my favorite everyday carry pocket folder knife. This is the Prepared Suburbanite reminding you to be prepared, and be prepared always. And I'm out for now.